Hey, what's up, Alan? Here with Liam and Mike from the Cancer Bats. What's up, guys?
Hello.
What's
How's
up?
it going? That was a good shake.
I know. I felt like
Are you doing the Wu-Tang?
I was just raising the roof in general.
Nice. How you guys doing? Thanks for coming in.
Good, real good. Thank you for having us.
We were talking about, before this started rolling, we were talking about Canadian punk rock.
Yeah.
And how awesome of a community
Just
it
how
is.
awesome it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of good bands. And actually, I just got a copy of your new record and the new Flatliners record, and you're on that.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah, we did Gangs. I sang
Yeah.
on it.
I'm
stoked.
Are you doing gang vocals on it too?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah, we did a whole night of gang vocals. It was
There was
really
a
fun.
rowdy night of drunken gangs. The
Who else
is
is-
Flatliners record?
Who else
There's-
is in the gang?
Jay, our bass player, was on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but then they also had all the guys from Hostage Life, all the guys from a bunch of bands.
Primitive
Yeah.
Bastards, I'm assuming, are in
Yeah,
there.
I want to say even like some of the guys from the St. Catharines. I just
Oh,
know there was
yeah?
tons of bands. that
Wilhelm
were-
Scream pops up on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are there. It's
New,
good
I heard.
record, man.
I just heard a bit of the new Comeback Kid, and from Wilhelm sings on it as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How is it?
It sounds awesome. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
And have you guys heard the full Flats record?
No, I haven't heard a single
anything.
bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, aside from what
good.
we were like singing on,
It's
which
good.
is always
Might
like
have
a
to,
bad example.
Yeah, because you get like you just get like the
get the
10
chorus.
seconds that you're singing on, and
Yeah.
you're like, that was awesome, but it was 10 seconds.
That was like,
I'll tell you right now, it's awesome. It's really,
yeah,
really
that's
good.
what everyone keeps telling me. So
That's good.
I'm
Is it-
excited,
and-
and it comes out the same day as our record too.
Does it really?
Yeah,
Which
April
is-
13th.
Yeah, okay. So
It's like us, Bison BC, and the Flats,
And
all come out
Bleeding
the same
Through.
day. Bleeding Through on
Bleeding-
Canadian, but we'll throw it in.
Yeah.
do you guys have bets as to who will
Who's
sell
going to
the
be on
most?
top? Nah.
It's not very
I hope
punk
we
rock.
all tie.
Yeah, that's
At
a,
number
Oh,
one.
it's a very
that's-
Canadian answer.
That's a very good one.
But I mean, let's talk about your record. I've been listening to it. I've had it for about a week now. And the last time I interviewed you, I had sort of asked as to why you guys decided to get heavier. And then I put on this record, and I was like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean? You got
"It's
even
not heavy
heavier.
enough."
No, you got heavier. I think like that first
Yeah.
song.
Always.
Sleep
This away.
Yeah, that blew my mind. Great
you.
song. What can you say about? What can you tell us about that song?
It was,
That was the heaviest song we've ever written.
yeah,
Yeah.
Scott was just actually playing guitar with like our friend's kind of rock band called Solitary Sun, and he did a couple shows, and he was just fiddling around with his presets on his effects processor, and he came across this one sound, and it was like, holy shit, this is heavy.
Yeah.
And then so we just wrote a song with it.
It's a
'cause it was
brutal
like-
tune, man, and I mean that in like the nicest way possible. It's
No,
it's heavy.
we embrace the term brutality.
Yeah.
But I mean the whole record it keeps out, and I guess the first single is Dead Wrong, right? That's gonna
Yeah.
be the.
yeah.
Is that a Biggie Smalls reference?
The Dead
Dead
Wrong?
Wrong? Yeah.
No.
And
What would be the
yeah.
Biggie Smalls?
He has a track called Dead Wrong as
Does
well.
he?
It's a
I'm
good song.
sorry.
It's a really good song.
I'm sorry.
And you're the hip hop dude
I know.
too.
I called myself out on that one.
Okay, well, I mean, let's talk about that song. What can you tell us about that tune? Because that's probably the one we'll play on the radio, right?
Yeah, go for it. Dead Wrong, just super psyched. This record was definitely tough, especially as far as like picking singles or whatever, because it wasn't like with Hail Destroyer, it was like, we have Hail Destroyer, that's the song,
Yeah.
And then it was like picking the other singles was tough because we were like, okay, well, we have this one track that stands out. Whereas for us, like listening to the record, it was like all the songs we were stoked on. Like we thought Sleep This Away was going to be the single,
That's
or
again, an amazing
Scared
song.
to Death, or Dead Wrong, or like, tons of songs that we were just loving. So we even, in this case, we kind of left it up to like the record label and management and stuff, and was just like, we think it should be Dead Wrong. We're like, okay, we love that song. Like,
Cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's a weird, like for a band like you guys, I mean, singles is not something, I mean, you guys have been one of those few bands that actually get airplay.
Yeah.
Considering
Yeah.
how heavy you are, right? So is it weird to even like talk about putting out a single?
Especially like when I first joined with a band, growing up in punk rock and playing in hardcore bands and metal bands and stuff, it was just like that. And even bands that put out records, it was like there was never talk of a single.
Yeah.
It was like,
Oh, yeah.
and then all of a sudden I get into this band and they're like, we need a single, we need 3 singles, and I was like, what, really? Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
well, and I guess
so,
because we never thought about, because for us, like being on Distort, it's like we would kind of hear about what was happening with Alexis on Fire. And it was like Alexis on Fire never got played on the radio. So we were just like, whatever. Like we'll make music videos because,
They're fun.
yeah, and like
And Video
much music,
Fact will give
yeah,
us
and Video
money.
Fact pays for them. So it's like, might as well do
Sweet.
it, put it on the internet, see what happens. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
never
yeah.
anything
Yeah.
realistic. But now with this record and the attention that Sabotage has gotten, it's like, oh yeah, we need another radio single, or we need something that could maybe go to radio, and you're like, weird, we've never thought about this, you know, because Hail Destroyer definitely wasn't played on the radio, outside of, I mean, Toronto,
College radio.
yeah.
And, yeah.
The Edge played it.
Also a
and-
very
Yeah,
good
The
song.
Edge played it.
Also
Thank you very
great,
much.
And a good album. That was a. But I mean, is that when you're in a hardcore band or a metal band, are you constantly trying to get more heavy and more technical? Is that sort of?
I think, I mean, you want to push yourself as a musician, and I think that's where things lead to. I mean, we also, like, while this record is our heaviest, at times I also think it's our, like, most melodic, you know, and almost, like, our easiest, you know, to get into. But I remember, like, speaking of Bleeding Through, like, when we were writing Hail Destroyer, talking with Brandon, the singer of Bleeding Through, and he was like, no one can ever complain that you get too heavy. Like, no one's gonna ever be like, oh, this sucks, this band's too heavy now. Because then they're gonna get called a pussy, you know? And you can just be like, that's your argument. You're like, well, if we're too heavy, then you're too old, or like, you know, you suck.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's easy, just always write the heaviest record ever, and then you'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to ask you guys if you're. I was reading through some of the lyrics. Are you guys nihilistic at all?
No. There's actually a song that addresses that.
Which
About
one?
how Black Metal Bicycle, the lyric is, some people call me a nihilist. Can't be true, because baby, I believe in you.
But then what about like a song like?
Love ballad.
I'm gonna have to grab my CD. Sorry, I've only had it for a week.
That's okay.
Fake
Do you-
Gold.
Fake Cold's just calling out
Because
the...
you say you're jaded. You say you're. I get the impression you just don't care. You know what I mean?
No. It's like you're wondering where you like. It's that song's all about like hearing bands and hearing about new bands and stuff like that, and just being bummed out. Like where you're just like, oh, awesome, you guys are going for a cash grab, or this is what. Oh, cool, this is the baddest punk band that's coming out right now. This sucks. So it's just kind of like my reaction to that stuff, where it's just like all these people that I can kind of see doing things for the wrong reasons, and I'm like, this sucks. So I'm like, is it me? Am I just an asshole? Am I too old? Like, do I not get it? Is that why I hate all these bands? And then it's like, no.
But I guess that comes with like growing up, I guess, in a band, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of the record is about. Like now that we're like 30 years old, we definitely have different ideals and are thinking about things differently than we were when we started the band, like when we were 25.
But I get the impression you probably stayed true to a lot of ideals and ethics that you did when you were kids.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like looking back on, I mean, like why we got into this in the first place, and like why we even have this band, you know.
And
It's
also,
like,
I think also like just stuff like, we grew up like having to put on shows ourselves. Like it was all DIY punk rock stuff. Like learn how to use a 4-track to record a demo, and then sit there with 2 tape machines like recording
Oh, yeah,
tapes
to-
together. You know.
Yeah.
And like, and even still, like now, it's like, we have a great record label that's behind us, but like, if we don't, if we're not working just as hard or harder, then like we have to do it ourselves still, like this whole Billy Talent tour, we handed out 10,000 samplers, because it was just like, if we don't do it, who's
Yeah,
going to do
nobody
it?
else is going to.
Yeah,
I'd imagine though too, like, because you guys, are in the punk scene, pretty popular, right? So I'd imagine that would help keep you guys grounded as well, staying true to those sort of ethics.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it still keep up that connection. It's like
Yeah.
we can still interact with kids and still hang out, and they realize that we're just dudes and
Just dudes.
handing out samplers, just
Yeah.
talking about our band, being stoked. And it's
Dudes
just
that like the Beastie Boys.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Sabotage, I have to ask about that because I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. Actually, I want to show you guys something. Let's see what you guys think of this. Probably have to edit this, sorry.
Hopefully, it's your Beastie Boys tattoo.
It's not, I don't have any ink, unfortunately. You guys have lots of ink though.
We're getting
Correct?
there.
Yeah. But no, Beastie Boys, why did you guys decide to do Sabotage?
It's the best song ever
Best
written.
song,
It's
yeah.
a great song.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing too is that like everybody loves that song. We were just trying to think of like a good song to play live and to get kind of everybody involved. That like whether it was punk rock kids or metal kids or old or young or girls or boys, like anybody, everyone loves that song and it would just go down. So we were like, oh, this will be really fun. We didn't really think about it beyond that.
And it was like, we did it because we wanted to do something different for festivals in the summer. For all these places that we've played so many times on tour, we were
It's
like,
the first time I heard it was at a festival.
yeah, and that's when we started playing it, and we were just like, we need to do something fun. And then Liam came with the idea like doing Sabotage, and we were just like, yeah, that song rules. Like
So was the video.
everybody like covers "Fight for Your Rights" Party.
Yeah.
Like every other band can play that song, but like I haven't heard too many bands cover.
Yeah, you
other
don't hear
Beastie
too many
Boys.
bands cover any other Beastie Boys songs. Other
No.
than
And
Well,
then-
Fight for Your Right's like huge. There's like
yeah.
tons of them.
Fight for Your
There's
Right
like
gets covered
weird,
by.
obscure bands that have covered them too. Like I've heard
Yeah.
some weird Beastie Boys.
Oh,
covers.
we've played shows before where 2 bands in the same night have covered "Fight for Your Right to Party."
Oh yeah?
Yeah, horribly.
Check this out. This was my Halloween costume.
Oh, that rules.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not bad, eh?
You should have been in the video.
I know. It's a sabotage.
If we had
video.
it known.
I thought you guys would like that. We could put it on the screen or something afterwards. But that's pretty close, eh?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
we almost
looks
won
really
a prize
good.
for that, so I wanted to show you guys that. 'cause
I wish
thought you
we'd have
guys
known because you
appreciate
would
that.
have been in the video.
Thanks. Yeah, that would have been awesome.